Pacelli and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky Geezers, it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff that went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky Geezers, man, they're feeling just fine. Pacelli's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky Geezers, they're the nerdiest crew, talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn, singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky Geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, proton packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky Geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky Geezers, they're living the dream, talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky Geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky Geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezers show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be. Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Let's go into the presentation room. Do you want to see a magic trick, Big Al?
Show me a magic trick, Boomer.
I'm going to make deleted scenes appear out of nowhere. Look at that, huh? Isn't that fascinating?
Awesome.
All right, we'll just tuck you down there. All right. Welcome, everyone, to... well, it's doing that thing where they disappear again, isn't it? Bear with me, folks. One moment here. I gotta push all of you. Yes?
I had the sound off. I'm sorry.
All right. Are y'all seeing this? Actually, wait a minute. I can look on my side. No, you're showing up. You're showing up here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I see the Geeky Geezers black
side.
screen, and yeah, I don't have the YouTube open,
So we'll see. We'll make do. Troy's not here. Troy was visiting family over the 4th of July weekend, so welcome to Geeky Geezers with special guest Big Al of Big Al Presents.
Hello.
And Deleted Scenes with Stephen on.
Hi, good evening.
And I will be joining him afterwards on reserved seats.
Indeed.
Okay.
And I thought I'd come a little patriotic tonight with my avatar.
Very good. Oh, and sometime during the stream, Stephen, if you could post a link to your... Is it the same StreamYard link that we always use for Sparkwood, or is it a different StreamYard link?
It's a different one now.
Go ahead and post it in the private chat when you have a moment, and I'll use that to carry myself over later. Anyway, welcome to Geeky Geezers. Is everybody in a good mood, having a good 4th of July weekend, and not crying about the death of physical media? I'm fine. We're all fine here. We're all fine tonight.
So good. I'm sorry.
It's like everyone's talking about the stuff I talk about. Oh, and I love Troy's sympathetic thing in the MeWe when he kept saying, you know, told you so, told you so. I don't know what you told me so. We'll talk about that next week, Troy. Because this is bad. Lynn Green, welcome, though. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you here. And let's see, Big Al of Big Al Presents. You're in the chat, but we'll say here anyway. Ruby Hoove, welcome. And let's see here. Sorry, give me one moment here. Ruby who gifted a Netters Network thing. Thank you so much. And Charlie Plays 2508 received a gift membership. And Ruby Hoove gifted another Last Call membership to green-haired anti-liberal. Okay, well, welcome.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Ruby Hoove. And you know what? Let's just poke down to see if I have access to anything. I do. Give me a moment here.
Ruby Hoove, you're a gem shining through. Every kindness, every gift makes the whole world sparkle new. Ruby Hoove, thank you.
Isn't that lovely? All right. And you know what? Just for the heck of it, and Troy's not here, so I can do what I want. I know that Geek Flag had done a Farty Fox earlier on your stream, so couldn't do it on yours. Let's do it right here. Let's do it.
Shimmy left, shimmy right, Farty Fox is dancing tonight. Wait. Hearts go popping out his bum, wiggle, wiggle, here they come. Come. Cute as can be with a fluffy tail sway, spreading love in the silliest way. Farty Fox, you're the best. Boop, 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 you're simply the cutest mess.
Wow. Am I supposed to play it again? Why not? One more time.
Shimmy left, shimmy right, Farty Fox is dancing tonight. Wait. Hearts go popping out his bum, wiggle, wiggle, here they come. Come. Cute as can be with a fluffy tail sway, spreading love in the silliest way. Farty Fox, you're the best. Boop, 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 you're simply the cutest mess.
All right. Thank you again, Geek Flag, for the $2 ship a dog. Shaking his body from left to right, surrounded by hearts. Ship a dog is another word for Farty Fox. Welcome, Gaff After Dark. Welcome, Geek Flag. Okay. So let's go back into the presentation room. Because that was weird, because I don't even know if you were showing up as you. Okay. There we go.
Wasn't there for a minute now.
All right, let's just move on. We're just going to get to the first story of the night. No good old days tonight, because we have a lot to cover tonight. A lot of news to cover that I'm not too keen to cover, but we have to do it. First up, a horror on In Remembrance, unfortunately. Victor Willis, Village People founding lead singer and YMCA co-writer, dies at 74. Did you know about this?
Yes, I did. I heard about it. I loved Village People when I was young.
That's a great video, YMCA. I should have done the good old days on YMCA. There we go. Macho Man.
Macho Man.
In the Navy.
Well, we had that one when we did Down Periscope. Not that
I
long
remember
ago.
Down Periscope with
we did that
Kelsey
on,
Grammer, right?
Yeah, we did that on a Friday night about a couple months ago, I think.
We were profoundly sad to announce the death of Victor Willis, lead singer of the Village People. Victor passed away on Monday, June 30th, 2026, of a short but aggressive illness. Privacy is requested. It was posted on the Village People official Facebook page. Son of a Baptist preacher, Willis grew up in San Francisco, where he developed his voice singing in his father's church. While training in acting and dance, he relocated to New York and joined the Negro Ensemble Company, appearing in numerous musicals and plays, including the original Broadway production of The Wiz in 1976. Wow. His career changed course after he was introduced to French disco producer Jacques Morali, who approached him with an audacious pitch that Willis would front his new album and make it a massive hit. Willis agreed, and the debut Village People album was released in July 1977. After an appearance on American Bandstand prompted demand for a live act, Willis and Morali assembled a full group of performers around him, the archetypal costume characters who would become one of the most recognizable ensembles in pop history. Willis went on to co-write all of the group's biggest hit singles. YMCA, released in 1978, became their signature hit, followed by In the Navy and Go West. Village People's theatrical blend of disco rhythms and outsized masculine archetypes, cop, cowboy, construction worker, propelled them to mainstream ubiquity. In March 2020, the Library of Congress described YMCA as an American phenomenon and added the song to the National Recording Registry. The following year, the song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. So, rest in peace, but big deal tonight, huh?
Yeah, he was, like I said, back then, there was that little 3-year period where the Village People were the one of the icons of that era. And then they got a movie deal, Can't Stop the Music, and by the time the film came out, they were over. And
Oh,
the film
no.
tanked. Their time had passed by the time the film got to the release date. Nobody cared anymore. It was sad.
Disco burned, and it burned brightly, but it burned out. That's what happened with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh well, too bad. Too bad. How about you, Steven? Any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah. Well, the Village People and kind of disco in general, that heyday was when I was very, very young. So it was all kind of a little bit over my head. And my idea of disco was Disco Duck. And, I probably drove everybody nuts playing that on the jukebox.
I had the little, what was it, the short record for that. That was from Sesame Street, right? If memory serves?
Maybe?
No. Disco Duck was the DJ.
Rick Dees.
Rick Dees.
Yeah.
All right, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
I think you're thinking of Rubber Ducky. You're the one.
Yeah, that's not Disco Duck. Never
that's
mind.
not Disco
Okay.
Duck.
Well, you know what? What do you want? I was born in '77.
Someone's got to do the mashup. That's a mashup that needs to happen.
It would be like a DJ, and he's smashing the two of them up.
Yeah.
Village People. Which one was gay? Wait. I don't know the answer to that. Hey, this is news to me. Okay, but I have the same birthday as the Indian guy from the Village People. Okay. Anyway, rest in peace. Classic video. They have a video of it you can catch. Maybe it's from the movie. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, say what you will. YMCA, that has become an anthem.
Yes.
Right.
There was a Disney disco album. I did not know this. All right, time to move on. Gaming news. We're all big gamers here, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Crickets?
Absolutely, sir. I'm a big expert on that.
Okay, Electronic Arts. Troy would know even what Electronic Arts are. They've been around for a while. Announces new plan to launch ads directly into gameplay. What? In an announcement that is sure to unsettle players but please investors, Electronic Arts has announced a new program to bring in-game ads to its games in ways that EA claims won't disrupt the player experience. Electronic Arts Advertising, as it's called, is a new platform that EA says advertisers can use to reach EA's network of 120 million monthly players. That's indeed a massive scale, and some people in the video game industry have been surprised that this kind of program hasn't happened sooner, given how much money there is to potentially be made. Recently, Xbox Chief Strategy Officer Matthew Ball talked about advertising gaming, while a former BioWare boss said product placement could help improve the viability and sustainability of gaming. Not everyone agrees, of course, as there's been significant player pushback to the idea of in-game ads, and one top executive, Strauss Zelnick of Take-Two, has said in-game ads for full-price games are not fair to the consumer. You mean the game I paid $69.99 for also has ads that I don't want to see? Maybe that has something to do with this. Here we go, playing soccer, and you get to see Lowe's ads on the sideline, you know. I mean, you could be playing, Battlefield and see like a poster for RC, and it can change to, the.
We have to kill the dragon, but not before we have some Gatorade. That's right, nice fresh Gatorade to replace our electrolytes.
They'll have Gatorade, the medieval barmaid, and there'll be Gatorade on the shelf behind her.
Be a great place for beer.
Stupid.
Be a great place to for beer placement.
This is like the movie Ready Player One, where the entire purpose was to insert spam ads into games and destroy the experience. Yeah, basically, that we're headed there. We're headed there. That's the future they want. So it can be like Ready Player One. Some industries need to die, so it should be with video games. Die a good death, process the ashes, and then rise. Yeah, basically. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, though. I can't predict any of this nonsense. The week started out bad. This was Monday, I think, and I'm like, wow, we're off to a bad start, and I had no idea what was coming. The next big story Monday brings us to PlayStation. Not the big story, though this would have been the big story this week if not for something even worse. But let's get to it. Sony says it won't sell hardware at a significant loss as concern grows over PlayStation 6 price. Sony has insisted it has no plans to sell hardware at a significant loss, with concern growing over the potential price of the PlayStation 6 amid the ongoing RAM apocalypse. You've heard of this, right? Due to the AI race, how expensive electronics is getting. Sony raised the price of the PlayStation 5 consoles in April, bringing the cost of a standard PlayStation 5 to $649.99. The PlayStation 5 Digital Edition to $599.99. PlayStation 5 Pro to $899.99. Wow. And to think, when I bought a PlayStation 4 Pro, I thought I was spending a lot by paying $399.99 for it, and it came with the Spider-Man game and a season pass. A physical Spider-Man game. We'll talk about physical media in a minute. And it came, and it was a big red Spider-Man PlayStation 4 with the Spider-Man symbol on the console, and I paid $399 for that, and I thought that was an expensive console at the time. This is where we are. Okay. And of course, Microsoft announced significant Xbox price increases as well. But that's not what's important here. What's important is, in a recent Q&A with Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Hideki Nishino, published in English by Sony itself, the executive suggested taking a big hit on next-gen consoles isn't something PlayStation will do. Nishino was asked, considering consumer behavior, could you update us on your current thinking regarding hardware pricing and profitability? For the next generation platform, is it reasonable to assume that your pricing will continue to prioritize profitability of the hardware as it does today? Here's Nishino's response. First, we regard hardware as the base for providing the gaming experience, and by offering products such as PlayStation Portal, we aim to provide experiences tailored to users' play styles beyond the living room, blah, blah. As for pricing, it is not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases, and we have already implemented some price increases outside Japan. At present, however, sales are proceeding as planned, and we do not believe this has led to a decline in customer demand. So I'm going to translate that to you further. We're not going to sell the console at a cost, and we're going to make the customer eat the cost. And with rising component prices, this thing is going to be at least $1,000, but probably more. Thoughts?
Just get a very good computer and just use that.
Let's see. I have a hard virtual reality game series where I have to pay digital money to utility companies, and they promise to turn off my water, electricity, and other necessities. Supplies to food too. Are you paying actual money or virtual money inside the game, or this year? Why not have a price hike like $69.99? Well, they're having price hikes. I don't know what they're going to do with the PS6, but it's rumored it's going to be over $1,000. Well, Geek Flag, I can't say what you just said there, but it's okay.
I mean, they're going to price themselves out. Not everybody's going to pay that. Or, I mean, if they do,
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know what people are planning to do. I know since these price increases, sales have slumped on all the major consoles, including Nintendo's latest, the Switch 2, which is, I don't know if I'd call it a console. It's more like a hybrid. But now we move on to the big story of the week, which is... You don't like a broken disc, dude?
No, I just know it's coming.
Is there anything more beautiful in the world? All right. This had the entire internet screaming this week. You don't have to hear it from me, but we will cover this. PlayStation officially kills off physical games beginning in 2028 as Sony goes fully digital. I want to preface this by saying I did not end up getting a PlayStation 5. I had my own reasons for that. But even on the PlayStation 5, I would argue physical media, physical games on PlayStation 5 was pretty good. A lot of games came out in physical form, including smaller indie titles and including the more expensive mainstream blockbusters. They usually came out in a physical form. Some even came out in collector's sets. So Sony was still manufacturing PlayStation 5 discs. The only trepidation was a few years back with the PlayStation 5 Pro, not the Slim, which was the cheaper model. For the Pro, you could buy one that came with an optional detachable disc drive, or buy an all-digital console, then buy the disc drive separately for $80 and then attach it to yourself. And you needed an internet connection to attach it and to get it to work too, which I thought was a little puzzling myself, because it's hardware. Why do I need the internet to check and make sure it's okay? You guys remember the CD cleaners that would clean the scratches? I do, and they worked pretty good, I thought, back in the day. Okay, so moving on to the big story of the week. In one of the biggest announcements in the company's history, Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed that it will stop producing physical game discs for all new PlayStation releases beginning in January 2028. From that point forward, every new PlayStation game will be sold exclusively in digital format through the PlayStation Store and digital retailers. For millions of gamers who still enjoy collecting physical copies, trading games with friends, or buying discounted used titles, the announcement marks the end of an era that dates back to the original PlayStation back in 1994. Sony made the announcement on the PlayStation blog, claiming that changing consumer habits have made the move inevitable. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game disc production for all new games released on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting in January 2028. The company also clarified that this change only applies to new releases beginning in 2028. Existing physical games will continue to function, and titles released before the cutoff can still receive disc editions. So you'll be able to still get disc editions on your PlayStation 5 throughout this year and throughout next year. I doubt you're getting anything physical on the PlayStation 6. I don't think the PlayStation 6 is going to have a disc drive. Sony said the move simply reflects how most players now purchase games, pointing to the rapid growth of digital downloads over the past decade. While digital downloads have become increasingly popular, physical games still offer advantages that digital purchases simply can't match. Players can lend discs to friends, sell games after finishing them, hunt for used bargains, and build collections that remain playable decades into the future. Digital purchases remove nearly all those options. It's also helpful if a game gets removed from the digital store, you can go out and find a used copy of it physically. Like with the Sega Classics collection, they removed those from all digital storefronts, but you could still buy the physical copy of that if you wanted that for your system. One obvious question follows. Sony's announcement: if physical manufacturing disappears, will games finally become cheaper? On paper, there's a compelling argument that they should. Without physical releases, publishers no longer need to manufacture Blu-ray discs, print cover art, produce plastic cases, package games, ship them around the world, store inventory and warehouse, or split revenue with traditional retailers. Those costs don't simply shrink, they disappear entirely. Unfortunately for consumers, research suggests those savings may never reach gamers. Any thoughts so far?
What is the plan here? I mean, it seems like they're doing everything possible to tank their company and lose all of their. I don't get this. I don't get where this is coming from. I don't understand why they think people are going to spend $100 to buy an empty box with a digital code in it. It's
just going to be. It'll probably just be on. You go to their website. Probably.
Yeah.
You won't even have it. They won't even need to produce. They won't need to produce anything physical. It'll all be online.
Yeah, Steven's referring to the code in the box for the new Grand Theft Auto game coming out this fall, how it will not have a physical disc. I wasn't sure completely what that was about, and now I think I know. I think Sony's testing the idea, well, people buy just codes and boxes in stores. I think that's what the test is this fall, because you have an option. You can go out to your store and get Grand Theft Auto and get a useless plastic case and a code inside, or you can just buy it directly from the digital store. It's the same thing. Which will people decide to do? And I think they're testing that out in the fall to see if people will still go out and buy a quote-unquote physical copy that's not really a physical copy.
Right.
Here's what's going on. In the beginning of the PlayStation 4 era, Sony made fun of Xbox for really bad DRM with their physical games, how you would buy a physical game for your Xbox and it would only work on your Xbox. You couldn't share it with someone or anything like that. And you would need an internet connection to set it up and all this stuff. And Sony then made a troll thing at the same E3 and said, "How do you loan out games to a friend? Oh, here's a copy of my game. You may borrow this." And the guy just hands over the physical game. And the joke was, "There's no DRM on our PlayStation 4 discs." And Microsoft got horribly shamed, and they got rid of it. So it didn't affect the Xbox One releases after that, but the damage had been done. Sony is now, in my opinion, being very anti-consumer, and I feel that this is. I think they're under bad management right now. I think the management they have now is not the same management they had at the beginning of the PS4 era. That's the thing. We ask what's going on with our favorite companies. What happens is they get new leadership.
Yeah. But you also got, I mean, you got to look at the tech. I mean, if you compare gaming to films, I mean, look at the progression we've gone through with that. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, a lot of people don't need a disc. Everything's online. Same way with, it's going to become the same way with games. It's just that the technology has gotten to the point where you just plug in, go to a website or whatever, and it just shoots into your hard drive and you go, or however it's going to be rigged.
Well,
or a cloud site or something.
It's good that you bring up cloud, because a lot of these sites who were very angry about this said, "What's next?" And I said, I know what's next. Cloud gaming. You pay $70 to $80 for a game that they will store on the cloud for you. You're not going to be able to download it on your local hard drive, and you'll just play it on the cloud as long as you have a good internet connection. And you'll have the privilege of being able to play this game that you don't even have stored locally. That's the next step.
Yeah, and your Wi-Fi goes down, you can't play. So, I mean, nowadays, if your Wi-Fi goes down, if you have something physical, and you're good to go. Yep. And that it is going to tick a lot of people off.
We'll see, because I don't know how any of this is sustainable, but I have to wait and see what the customer decides to do. Are people going to be paying over $1,000 for a PlayStation 6, which has no disc drive, where you can't play physical discs on? Are they going, and has no real hard drive space because of the way all the components are expensive right now? You're lucky if you'll get 1 terabyte on this thing. Retrograde to PlayStation 2. You know how you played a game on the PlayStation 2? You had your game on a DVD. You put it in your PlayStation 2, and it would run the game off the DVD. You didn't need a hard drive. It would just play the game. You would just play the game off the disc. Imagine that. In South America, pirated games and movies were the norm. The real DVDs and games were always the way too expensive. Pirating was just as good. Yeah, I've heard this happens in many parts of Asia as well. Same thing will happen with this digital stuff. Well, I hate to say this. I mean, when you're having to pay $1,000 for a console, who's going to be able to afford that? Especially for games that you really can't store on your hard drive because memory's so expensive. I don't know how gaming goes forward with this. I don't know how console gaming goes forward. I guess
that's what my question is, because I mean, how many people at present are going to be able to afford something like that? I can't afford to replace the game consoles that I have, let alone buy a new one for $1,000. I can't go to a store and buy the disc, unless I go to a mom and pop place, or God forbid a GameStop. But
I need to explain to you how prices were. I'm going to go back to 2020. Okay, this was during the height of this little thing called the pandemic. I'd gotten a PS4 Pro, like I said, for $400. I then got angry at Sony for another reason, and I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm not buying games on your console anymore. I later, a couple years later, relented because, let's be honest, my little boycott wasn't doing anything. But I said I still need to buy games, and then Walmart had the Xbox One S, which wasn't quite as powerful as my PlayStation Pro, but it had all the same games on it, and they were selling the Xbox One S for $199.99 with a copy of Minecraft and tax-free, too. I got it shipped without any taxes. And I'm like, that was an insane deal. So you could theoretically get on sale a console for $199.99 just 8 years ago. And now we've gone up to $900 max. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I should start hunting down Wolfenstein 3D and Doom CD-ROMs. Love those games. Yeah, and to be fair, I have Doom on the PlayStation 4, and I have it on the Nintendo Switch, and I have it on the Xbox One because I bought it digitally, and I'm worried one of those copies will die on me. So I hedge my bets. It's also coming out on the Evercade later this year, though. That is a cartridge-based system. Made in England, where they release a lot of old arcade games and a lot of old console games on. They're bringing Doom out for it, and their big thing is buy physical, and you get a case for it, a color manual, and the games are $30 a piece. And usually you'll get like an arcade pack with like 8 games on it, or if it's something larger, you might get like 3 games. Like they put like the first 3 Tomb Raider games on one of these cartridges, and you can get that. So that's an option if you want physical media. Maybe look into getting an Evercade. Okay. This is awful. People were horrified online about this week. And I understand where they were coming from, because PlayStation 5 wasn't bad for physical media. Games came out on physical discs on the PlayStation 5. It wasn't any worse than it was on PlayStation 4. I think Nintendo Switch, they had the best physical releases, but PlayStation 4 wasn't far behind. A lot of games that got physical releases on the Switch got physical releases on the PlayStation 4. Xbox was never as good with the physical media, but I guess we're going to go to them next. Oh, we're going to go to this first. This should be illegal. Sony is deleting over 500 purchased movies from PlayStation Store accounts, and it's the ultimate warning to buy 4K Blu-rays instead. So I didn't realize this was a thing, because when I would buy my digital movies, I would typically buy on Vudu, or what we call Fandango now. I have ceased doing that because of what happened with the French Connection. But a lot of my digital codes, I would redeem them on Vudu, and then I would, if they had a good sale going on, if the movie was really cheap, I'd pick it up for like $5, off Fandango now. Well, Sony apparently on their own storefront had movies available, right? So
Yes.
you would go ahead and buy these movies. And now, so let me just get into this. One of the best things about Blu-ray discs is you don't need to worry about Sony will sneak into your home in the middle of the night and take them away. You say that now. You say that now. You're going to update your Blu-ray player. It's going to have an update on it, and then suddenly the Pinkertons are going to show up at your house, take your Blu-rays out into your backyard, and smash them. Okay, anyway.
The Sony ninjas.
The Sony ninjas, there you go. Unfortunately, you can't say the same thing about digital purposes. Sony is scrubbing hundreds of movies and TV episodes purchased on the PlayStation Store from people's collections with no compensation. Come September, they're all gone. The list of affected movies and shows is on the Sony website and includes the remastered Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Gamora, the Rambo movies, no! And many more. The problem is the end of a licensing agreement between Sony and Studio Canal, a major producer and distributor of movies and shows. As Sony explains, from September 1st, 2026, you will no longer be able to access your previously purchased content from Studio Canal, and it will be removed from your video library. To add insult to injury, the notification ends with the PlayStation slogan, "Play has no limits." What do you think of that?
That first sentence sums it up for me. This should be illegal. If you have spent money on something, it should be, I mean, it's not as good as physical media, but if you pay for something, it's yours.
Yeah.
This is where it's robbery.
Yeah, and this is something I know a little bit more about, more than
Right. The
video
games, yeah.
games, is that, look, this is actually not the first time Sony did this. They dropped 239 films from their store back in 2023. So this is not the first time that they've done this.
Yeah.
This is just the first time that they got caught at it, and that it was as widely reported as this has been. It is wrong, and this is why we always insist on getting physical media, because you think, oh, I bought it, I own it. No, it's essentially a long-term rental agreement. You're leasing it, something like that. They can take it away at any time. It's just like the streamers, you know. You can go and buy a movie off of a streaming service. That doesn't mean that you're going to get to keep it. Say you went on Amazon and you bought Black Bag.
Yes.
Black Bag has been removed from Amazon.
Yep.
So unless you have a physical copy, you can't get that back. Whatever money you spent, you lost it.
Do you want to hear another Amazon horror story?
Please.
My brother bought a couple of anime series on there, right? And how they would do it on Amazon was they show the first episode for free, the company that puts it on Amazon, and then you have to pay for the rest of the season. So my brother would pay for it, but then they wouldn't give him the first episode. And he says, wait a minute. And he's like, no, the first episode's free, yes, but you didn't give it to me to own. So if you get rid of that first episode, which I think they later did, I don't have the first episode of the series in my digital library. These are glorified rentals.
It's and the problem is that they're not telling people that.
Right.
And that is where I feel the illegality comes in. You know, they are essentially ripping you off. They are stealing your money. They are promising you a product that they can just as easily take away, and probably will.
Boomer said it best. It is like someone coming into your house and taking DVDs and CDs right off of your shelf.
You see, left field theory, is this digital adjustment a practice dry run for going digital with money? I would argue this is what they're leading towards, practice games first, possibly. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's just been a creep everywhere with this stuff, right? First it was movies, and I noticed a while ago the big problem with your digital movies, you can download them. Like I remember on Vudu back in the day, if you wanted to download one of your digital movies, you could. And then I noticed how much hard drive space they took up, you know? Yeah. It's like impossible.
Yeah.
So that's when I made a rule, basically. I would only buy a movie if it was cheap, like the price it would cost me to rent it. Or if it was something I got with a DVD, I would redeem it, you know? Mm-hmm. Or if it was something I couldn't get anywhere else. PlayStation isn't the only one going all digital, as Project Helix reportedly won't have a disc drive. This is, of course, a rumor, and for those of you who don't know what Project Helix is, it's the rumored follow-up to the current Xbox. So this is the other big console out there, which is, of course, the Xbox series of consoles, which have had such disastrous sales this generation. This is probably part of the reason why Sony is thinking they can do whatever they want, because they don't really have any competition. Unless you count Nintendo, but I think Nintendo is kind of doing their own thing. Let me see here. It's been a few hours since PlayStation announced it will be halting physical disc production in January 2028, effectively killing off the used game market, leaving plenty of gamers across the social media platform reeling. It also has many looking for alternative platforms, with PC and Nintendo Switch 2 the main choices. However, there are some people still holding out hope that Xbox would perform some kind of miraculous slam dunk on PlayStation by promising to release physical games, giving it a one-up on its closest competitor, with payback for PlayStation's infamous game sharing rose from E3 13 years ago. Yeah, I already mentioned that a few minutes ago. But it says don't expect Xbox to fill in the physical market once PlayStation leaves, as it's being reported that Xbox has no plans to include a disk drive in its next console, currently titled Project Helix. This is according to a new report from Windows Central, which claims that their sources have told them that Xbox has already dropped the disk drive for Project Helix. And that means if you're wanting to play physical games when 2020 rolls around, you're looking at Nintendo Switch 2 as the primary platform. Sure, it's a game keycard system may be unpopular, but Nintendo has at least made sure all of its first-party titles are fully physical games, complete on the cartridge. So here's what I'll say about Nintendo. They do this game keycard thing, which I can't stand. But where it looks like a cartridge you put into your Nintendo and it downloads the game from the internet and you can play it when the card is inserted. The game is not actually on the card. They have other Nintendo Switch games are fully on the card though, and it's not a game key card. They advertise fully on the box, which is what, so. This is a rumor, but what do you think? True? You think Xbox is also going to ditch the physical games?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's where everybody's going. Like I said, I think it's just the advancement of the tech.
I've heard Project Helix is going to be this console PC hybrid too, so I don't know. There are a lot of rumors floating around for this. Another rumor going around that Xbox is testing disc-to-digital feature, and that will digitize a physical game collection. So Microsoft will likely soon follow Sony and stop the production of physical discs for Xbox games. But instead of leaving physical discs behind entirely, sources familiar with Microsoft's plans tell me the company has quietly been working on a disc-to-digital feature that will allow Xbox owners to digitize their existing physical game collections. Xbox employees recently started testing this new feature as reference to enable disc-to-digital appears in the Xbox PC app code in May. I'm told that Microsoft's disc-to-digital feature will work on Xbox One and Xbox Series X discs only, and not those for Xbox 360 or original Xbox console. Getting a digital copy of a game works simply by inserting a compatible disc and installing and playing the game. This will require a Microsoft account on an Xbox console and will grant a digital entitlement for physical games. This digital entitlement is tied to a specific disc, and it will move from account to account if you swap the physical disc with a friend or log into a different Xbox profile to try and play the disc-based game. I'm going to explain to you how this works. On Xbox, you take your game disc, you insert it into your Xbox. It downloads the game from the disc, and it downloads any patchments or additions from the internet. Then you have to keep reinserting that disc to play the game, even though the game is technically already on your Xbox console. The disc at this point is just working as a key. They're just going to allow you now, you don't have to keep inserting the disc each time. And you'll basically have what it amounts to a digital copy of the disc. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I don't think this is terrible, especially if it allows, if these games will eventually, these digital games, if I can turn my physical games to digital games but still keep my physical disc, and then if maybe Xbox has a PC option where I can play these games on a PC through like an Xbox store, maybe they'll merge it with the Windows gaming platform they have on there. It might be a way for me to take my Xbox library to a PC someday. So I'm not against this. This actually is some minor good news. I don't like digital, but at least you're going to do digital, do it better than having a closed platform. So we'll see. Xbox licensing schemes. I mean, if it just allows me to basically just turn my physical copy into a digital copy, but I still get to keep my physical copy, maybe this isn't so terrible. We'll find out as time goes on, but I don't know. Moving on to... now we're into Hollywood news. Did you see this movie, Steven?
I have not. I always did feel that Sprocket from Fraggle Rock deserved his own film. But, no? Okay.
Sprocket.
Oh, Sprocket. No, I haven't seen this. I saw Superman, and then I saw all the controversy surrounding this, and I went, I'm just gonna tap out right now.
Okay. So apparently, Supergirl to lose 125 million. And this is Marvel boss Kevin Feige once said back in 2017 at a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 presser that when it came to the studio's embrace of deeper character comic stories like Black Panther and Ant-Man, the biggest risk was not doing them. The biggest risk would have been doing Iron Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. As such, the revived DC Studios under Guardians of the Galaxy franchise filmmaker James Gunn and Conjuring franchise producer Peter Safran has plans to do exactly that, not to gavage moviegoers on the diet of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, but rather build secondary DC characters into Diamond properties. So they took a swing on Tom King and Bilquis Evely's visceral and edgy graphic novel Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which fans consider a true grit-type story in the Kryptonian subverse. It has caused Gunn and Safran's DC dearly. Industry sources are estimating $125 million loss after a $68 million worldwide and $37 million domestic opening, and all for cycle downstream ancillaries. Warner Brothers sources have told us that the breakdown for the Craig Gillespie-directed space opera resides in the $315 million global range after reported $170 million to $186 million net production costs and $120 million global P&A. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow was a sophisticated story about Superman's cousin, Kara Zor-El, coming out of her drunken stupor to avenge the murders of a young girl's family at the hands of the notorious villain Krem and his brigands, right?
Yep.
They kept calling them brigands in the movie?
Yeah, they were called brigands.
Okay. What do we think happened here? Bad reviews? Social media wasn't kind, I don't think, either.
Yeah, well, these days you're gonna have you definitely have the social media aspect of it. One, she mouthed off to Christian men. That put a damper on the film. Two, the film just has its issues. It's not the version of Supergirl they should have done. What was it, Woman of Tomorrow graphic novel? I think that was just the wrong story to do. I don't know what they should have done instead, but I think they needed something a little more aspirational rather than just another dark, dreary, nihilistic, dark-toned hellfest.
Maybe do Batman 1 and Wonder Woman 1 and Flash 1 and Green Lantern 1, about 15 other characters and before a spin-off character. I remember watching some YouTuber going, and they were trying to pretend to be the people behind the scenes, and they said, well, they could have done a Wonder Woman and a Batman movie, but they couldn't do those. And I'm thinking, well, why couldn't they do a Wonder Woman movie? What was stopping a Wonder Woman movie from happening? Because you recast Cavill, you're going to have to recast Gal Gadot then, okay? But just recast and do a Wonder Woman movie, which would have made sense. And I know the Batman has the problem because of those patents in Batman movies, but... And no, we're not going to get Green Lantern because he's getting a series where he acts like a jerk to Jon Stewart.
Another dark nihilistic take on a superhero. It's becoming... Right. That's the whole issue. People don't want that.
As someone who likes both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, I'm bothered by how they're being treated on this show, which looks like a True Detective season that never got made, which it probably is.
It doesn't look like True Detective. It looks like Peacemaker season 2.5. Looks like, and that's the problem. Number one is that you have the Pattinson Batman run around, so you got people thinking, so is Pattinson to this universe or what? You know, you have what they should have done was, okay, Pattinson Batman exists. I don't know what they could have done legally to get around that. But what they needed to do was they needed to drop everything that was in Snyderverse. And yes, Gunn, that means your wife and your brother too. You got to drop all of that. You got to start from scratch. You want to start with Superman? Start with Superman. That's fine. Then you got to have the big three first. Batman, Wonder Woman. You can bring in Aquaman, Flash. Then you can do your Justice League film, where you get them all together. Then you got to do it like the way Marvel did it, and then you move on to the ancillary characters, and then maybe you can bring on Supergirl later on. That's the thing that I don't understand, because it is so simple. You have all of this lore right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is DC was slow getting off the blocks, and they felt that they had to catch up to Marvel. That was the mistake Snyder made. You can't skip from your first movie to, we're in phase 5.
Yeah.
Then you go and you make these dark, nihilistic movies when the world is already dark and nihilistic enough. And then you go and you tell half of your audience that they're the problem.
You mean Supergirl should have been in other people's movies? Well, that's what they did with Marvel. They would introduce characters like Black Widow and Hawkeye in other movies.
Well, and I mean, just straight up, the way they introduced Supergirl in the Superman film put you off the character.
Yeah.
Because she shows up drunk and
she shows up drunk and foul mouthed, and I'm like, no. I mean, a lot of people have been criticizing Millie Alcock, and I mean, as the character, acting skills wise, she's fine. It's just all the stuff around her and the things they give her to say. It's just not. It's not Supergirl.
And now that I've seen Superman, which I had the chance to do last week, I can see what the problems are. You don't have a strong Superman. I'm not saying that Corn Sweat is bad. He does what he can with what they gave him, which is not very much, because you essentially had a Superman movie starring Mr. Terrific.
Right.
Who the hell is Mr. Terrific? No one knows who that is.
Well, he's about to get his own series.
Oh no, a TV series?
He's for why it broke today or
word.
yesterday. Mr. Terrific is going to have his own project. I think it's going to be a limited series, but beyond that, I'm not sure.
See, I thought they were setting up Justice League International.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say about Supergirl is that really the best part of the film is David Cornsweet when he's showing up as Superman. His scenes in that were great because he was Superman. The way he acted, the way he talked, and delivered, it was just that kind of nerdy country bumpkin kind of thing that I kind of like for Superman.
They were able to overcome the fact that they wasted Henry Cavill. Cavill was effectively killed in The Witcher. Stop trying to destroy these classic heroes. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing him in Highlander, okay? So that'll be good.
Hopefully Highlander will be good. Hopefully Warhammer will be good.
I liked Witcher. I liked him in Witcher a lot. And then they replaced them, and it's just not the same.
Yeah. Everything I've read about Highlander sounds good. Okay, that's what I'll say. It sounds like they're going forward with a plan. So we'll know ultimately when it comes out, but I'll fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
I just don't. Our cinematic universes going to survive this decade? That's my question, because I just don't know at this point.
Not the rate they're going.
I get.
And I'm like, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to come off like I'm always down on this stuff. I'm the guy who goes in hoping the movie's going to be good. I don't want to go in with the mindset of this is going to be a terrible film. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the black pill in the room. But they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and we point them out. It's like, guys, we are the audience that you are playing to. And you threw us away. We can't help you if you're going to do that. So I tell you, with this Gunverse, I walk away because it's obvious the kind of movie they want to make. James Gunn only knows how to make one kind of movie, and he's going to do it every time. And I'm not interested in sitting through therapy sessions, and that's what these movies are. They are therapy sessions. These are people airing out their dirty laundry to the public and calling it entertainment, and I'm not going to bite. It's that simple.
He said the next one's going to be as much Lex Luthor's movie as Superman's.
Oh, and the first one wasn't?
I don't know. Do you think it's going to be like, well, maybe Lex isn't so bad, maybe Superman's the problem? I don't know.
Oh, that's the next step. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, kind of going back to Superman for a minute, I have a theory.
Yes?
Nicholas Hoult is Tom Cruise's son.
What do you mean?
Because he looks and sounds exactly like him.
No, I think
he is either doing an imitation, or he is that man's son. I'm sorry.
He could have. Nicholas Hoult, I felt, could have played Superman. Actually, he wasn't up for Superman. He was one of the contenders for Batman, I remember now. Pattinson won out against him.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually more, at the time, rooting more for him to be Batman, but oh well. And now he gets to play Lex Luthor, so I'm not sure.
I thought he was a great Lex Luthor.
He is.
Yeah. Well, he's just a good actor. That's why I like him.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's a solid actor.
Nicholas Hoult is Tom Cruise as Lex Luthor.
They should have him in a risky business type movie.
I know everybody's like wondering what's deleted talking about, but I get it. I totally get what he's talking about with the whole Tom Cruise Nicholas Hoult thing.
He has a similar look, I guess, a younger. Tom Cruise,
there's a similarity there.
Yes.
The more I think about it, the more frightened I get.
Something to think about, folks.
If Jor-El has Zod's attitude, then Zod is going to be the hero. I heard they doubled down on the whole Jor-El telling him to conquer the Earth thing in this movie. Is that right? I think everybody hated?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they haven't out and out repealed it. It's still there.
The whole point of Jor-El and what was his mother's name?
Laura, right?
Laura. Yeah.
Laura. Okay. They were good people.
Yeah.
They were good people for Kryptonians. Yeah. That's the point. That's why when he ends up with the Kents, they're good people also. I feel like they've sadly been trying to turn Jor-El into something he's not, which I've never understood. All right, moving on to latest business. British government signals it may intervene in Paramount Skydance's $110 billion Warner Brothers Discovery takeover. What do you think?
I think the British government has more important things to deal with Great Britain right now, rather than worry about what's going on in the entertainment industry.
Why does Paramount want HBO? I guess it's all the properties. I mean, sorry, not HBO, Warner Brothers. I guess it's... I guess
it's an investment in the properties.
I just feel like Warner Brothers keeps releasing dud after dud after dud, and they don't stop. And they've been doing it for years now. We're going to be getting to a decade point at some point with how long they've been releasing duds, and it's.
But would this be like? Would they get their entire backlog?
They get everything, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, but that's got to be worth something.
Yeah. So the proposed $110 billion merger between Paramount, Skydance, and British Warner Brothers Discovery has hit another potential roadblock, this time for the British government. While the transaction has already cleared several major regulatory hurdles around the world, including approval from the U.S. Department of Justice, the British government has now indicated it is preparing to intervene over concerns surrounding media plurality and competition. According to Variety, UK Secretary of Slate and Culture, Media and Sport, Les Nandy, informed Parliament that she is minded to intervene in the merger following consultations with the companies involved and independent research. Oh, she didn't like what she found. Nandy said her department has formally notified both current and proposed owners of Warner Brothers Discovery that government intervention is now under consideration. Her primary concern centers on maintaining a sufficient plurality of views in news media. Oh, this is about the news media. Let's be honest with you. Paramount doesn't want the news media portion, do they? They're not buying this for the news media. They'd probably like to buy it without the news media if possible. Under proposed acquisition, an enormous collection of television networks and streaming services would fall under one corporate umbrella, including Channel 5, CNN International, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, TNT Sports. What is Channel 5? CBS?
Here. Yeah.
What are they talking about? Okay, according to...
I think it's a British thing.
Okay, maybe okay. If she ultimately decides to intervene, the government would introduce secondary legislation allowing those services to be formally considered under the Enterprise Act. That could establish a new precedent, extending well beyond the Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery deal. The companies have been given until July 6 to submit written responses to the British government. If Nanny proceeds with intervention after reviewing those submissions, 2 additional investigations would begin. Okay. So, and of course, this also doesn't talk about the rest of the EU, right? Because the EU could intervene. But yeah, actually, that leads us to our next article. Look at that. Okay. Paramount will end Universal partnership as EU demands major changes before Warner Brothers Discovery merger approval. So let's go in here. The massive entertainment industry shakeup involving Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery is moving closer to reality, but European regulators are requiring one major change before giving their deal their blessing. The end of a decades-old Paramount-Universal partnership. According to a new report from Variety, Paramount is preparing to exit United International Pictures (UIP) in its international distribution joint venture with Universal as part of an effort to secure approval from the European Commission for its proposed $111 billion merger with Warner Brothers Discovery. The decision marks the potential end of one of Hollywood's longest-running studio collaborations and shows just how closely regulators are examining a merger that would combine some of Hollywood's biggest brands in film, television, and streaming. United International Pictures was originally created in 1981 as a partnership between Paramount, Universal, and MGM to help distribute movies internationally. While MGM eventually departed, Paramount and Universal continued the venture for decades. So Paramount basically distributes Universal movies in Europe. Is that what I'm getting from this?
I don't know.
Okay, and that's why they want them to separate. Okay. As Paramount attempts to combine Warner Brothers Discovery, the European Commission reportedly viewed the existing Paramount-Universal distribution relationship as a potential competition concern, because this would basically give them control over Warner Brothers, Universal, and Paramount in Europe. That's most of the movie industry.
Yeah.
By leaving UIP, Paramount is attempting to remove one of the final barriers standing between the company approval of once largest entertainment mergers in history. So it sounds like Paramount is playing ball for the greater good of getting this acquisition in order. So, go ahead.
I think they'll end up winning it. It's just going to be they're going to have to do just enough to appease everybody.
Okay.
But it still makes me wonder. It's like, what's the EU got to do with it? It's kind of an American, I guess, the American.
Here's
mindset.
the deal: if they want to do business in the EU, they have to get this settled. Because let's face it, because those are the two big governing bodies. It would be let's be honest, the European Union. There are friends. I mean competition. I mean friends. Okay, you know what I mean. They're another governing body, and they're going to want, and if they want to distribute this stuff all throughout Europe, they have to get this stuff under wraps. So
Yeah, that's what, like I say, like you said, it sounds like Paramount's playing ball.
and I get to be clear, and I actually understand the European Union's concerns because they've been tied to Universal for so long. Paramount in Europe, they now want them not tied to Universal because I guess they figured this would give them a horrible, unfair advantage, especially in these countries which make their own movies, typically actually funded by government investment sometimes. So that makes sense. What do you think, Steven? Any thoughts? Headache?
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't want to spend too
No.
much time on these. We can move on.
Well, it's just the thing is, you got to get away from the EU, Europe. Come on, clean up your own house. You don't need politicians in the middle of this. They're going to do what they always do. They're just going to make things worse.
Yeah.
You got bigger fish to fry. Your own citizenry is not safe to walk down the street.
Yeah, there's that.
Work on that first. Get yourself an actual government, and then worry about. Let us worry about Paramount. That's what we do. Let us worry about Warner Brothers. You actually care about, making sure that kids can go to school without being accosted by foreigners. How about that?
Yeah. That would be better. Funny how they had no problem with Disney, Fox, or Amazon MGM. My own personal thing with Amazon MGM, I do feel MGM was probably on the ropes anyway because they really been a studio for a while. As far as Disney Fox goes, that should have never happened. I've said this before many times on the stream. I'm very upset about the Disney Fox merger. We basically lost a major studio because of it, as far as I'm concerned.
We did, and we lost a lot of content because of that in film history, and all of these films that we remember from our childhood that you can't find on video anymore because they refuse to release them.
I have a copy of The Entity on Blu-ray. You know the movie I'm talking about, The Entity?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name?
Barbara Hershey.
Yeah, Barbara Hershey.
And there's a spectral ghost force that's doing unwanted things to her. Disney will never release that movie again. That movie will be buried 1,000 feet under. That's why I made sure I got that Blu-ray.
That is a wild movie.
Yes.
The thing that I am wondering, going back to Paramount for a bit, is now that. Yep. All right. Let's face it, because somebody brought this up earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and because I've been watching 1883, now I know. Basically, Taylor Sheridan is the only one that's keeping Paramount afloat right now.
Oh yeah.
And they are about to lose him to Universal. What's that going to do?
They have. I don't know if this was before the Ellisons took over when the Bad Blood started. That might be part of the reason why the Ellisons were able to take over, because I noticed that there was a big disaster when you had Paramount Plus, and the biggest show Paramount had was Yellowstone, and I think that was it on Peacock or some other streaming channel, and not on Paramount Plus, even though they're the ones that make the show. That's why they started with all the spin-offs, like 1883, because they said we need some stuff to put on Paramount Plus. We'll let Taylor Sheridan do spin-off shows for Paramount. But he's leaving for Universal. What's going to happen to all these series?
Exactly.
He does a lot of television.
What does that do? I mean, I don't know what the right situation to that is. Will Paramount be able to continue airing those shows? Does Universal pick them up?
Well,
is he going to Universal specifically to do film? I've heard that as a theory. While Paramount keeps the television stuff, I don't know how this is going to work.
that would make more sense. Have him do some movies and keep the shows there until he wraps them up. I mean, he just started Dutton Ranch.
Yeah.
That just started.
And they're minus a showrunner already.
And Landman is still fairly.
Landman's doing very well.
It's fairly new. It's only had 2 seasons. Tulsa King, I know, has a couple seasons left in it. You have Nola King coming out with Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, it's it's. They introduced him on the last season of Tulsa King.
Created quite a universe.
Basically, yeah. Part of me wonders, is Landman in the same universe as Yellowstone? I'm wondering if it is. That is Billy Bob Thornton being completely unfiltered on that show, by the
That's
way.
good. Well, he's unfiltered in 1883.
Oh, he's on that
little
too?
bit he has this bit where he what's the interesting thing about that program, just to go off on a tangent for a moment, is you have the Duttons, the 1883 versions
Right.
of them played by Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, and Harrison Ford's character is a young boy in that series, and so you have the Duttons and these other fictional characters interacting with people who were real life characters along the way, and the character that Billy Bob Thornton plays, he's just in one episode, but he plays a character who's basically the sheriff of Fort Worth, Texas. This long-haired Jim Courtright. And yeah, he, again, a real guy who had no filter, was kind of half an outlaw himself, but, wound up a sheriff, and after they chase some guys who have shot up their wagon train to Fort Worth, and they have this shootout in this White Elephant Saloon, which is a real place. And he has the line. He has this kind of famous line: "You want to drink at the bar, drink at the bar. You want to dance with the girls, dance with the girls. But if anybody here fancies himself a gunman, just remember one thing: there's only one killer in Fort Worth, and that's me." And that's his line. And and then a couple of characters later who are kind of ne'er-do-wells say, "Well, we're going to leave. We're going to go to Fort Worth." I go, "Good fucking luck, because you're going to die."
Man,
it's an intense show, but and very. And they don't really hit you over the head with the politics that are in it, or the politics of the time, and that I'll accept.
that's fine.
So it's none of that. It's none of that nonsense, and it's why they won't give the show any Emmys.
Well, I don't think Taylor Sheridan is necessarily picking a side on these
I don't
shows. He
think
kind of shows both
no,
sides
I
of
think
things.
he,
Yeah. Okay.
And and I like the interview that he just gave. Where he basically, I don't care. I'm going to do my thing. The man lives in Texas. He's not in L.A.
Yeah.
That's not a sheen at all. I'm just concerned. Now that he's the guy at the moment anyway, keeping Paramount afloat. And in a couple of years, they're going to lose him. And what is that going to do to all of this? Basically, long story short, is this merger going to matter at the end of the day?
Well, didn't Paramount snag the Duffer Brothers though from Netflix?
Well, obviously Netflix doesn't want them anymore.
And I don't know who the Cobra Kai people went to. Maybe they were Universal, because they keep wanting to do this Bionic Man, Knight Rider, and Airwolf universe thing over there.
And they're the guys to do it.
That would be really cool if they did that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Big
for
fan
it.
of Airwolf. I'd like to see all 3 of them in it like that.
So I guess it's Kismet. We're doing the $6 Million Man pilot movie on Friday.
Yeah, we are.
That makes sense.
Lee Majors,
yeah. Comcast is spinning off NBC Universal Media and Entertainment assets. This was kind of interesting. I thought this was big news this week, and then we got everything else. But Comcast is spinning off its NBC Universal Entertainment and News Media business into a separate publicly traded company, a move that would unwind an audacious play the cable giant made that storied Hollywood assets 15 years ago. The plan would put broadcast networks such as NBC, Telemundo, NBC News, cable network Bravo, streaming service Peacock, the Los Angeles-based Universal Film and Television Studios, Universal Theme Parks, and British TV service Sky in a new standalone company. Philadelphia-based Comcast would remain in its core business of distribution pay TV channels, broadband, internet, and wireless service. The spinoff would be the second such move by Comcast in 2 years. Late last year, the Brian Roberts-controlled company cast off most of its cable portfolio, including CNBC, USA Network, MS Now, and Golf Channel, to form a new entity called Versant. But the maneuver failed to budge Comcast's listless stock, which has languished for years as its primary business lost thousands of broadband customers. Comcast executives need to make bolder move to mollify frustrated investors. So what's the idea? They spin this off and the profitable part just makes the money, whereas the less profitable part can be sold off?
It's almost like they're trying to separate the brand names is what they're doing.
Maybe. Two distinct businesses, longtime cable analyst Craig Moffett wrote on Monday to note investors having them under the same roof didn't make either better. Okay. I mean, Comcast does sell internet, right? I mean, internet services.
I believe so.
Internet and cable, I think they still do, yeah.
Okay. So, freestanding NBC Universal, home of the Minions and Jurassic Park franchises, probably would be an acquisition target, as media companies have been considering in an effort to get more content and mass distribution for their streaming services. Ellison's Paramount is on track to close its Warner Brothers purchases, which would combine such media assets as HBO Max, CBS, CNN, Paramount Pictures, and Warner Brothers Studios. With its Sky businesses, NBC Universal has toehold in Britain and Europe at a time when Amazon and Netflix are flexing their global distribution muscles. Comcast would be positioned to combine with another cable or internet provider, such as Connecticut-based Charter, which owns Spectrum Television Service. Charter is in the process of buying smaller Cox Cable Services, which also has operations in Southern California. It sounds like they want to sell off the cable internet part of the company. They want to get rid of it. And that helps another larger one to have more of a monopoly, and they can just hold on to Universal. I'm hearing crickets. Like I know how any of this works.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with that.
I agree with Boomer with this. Absolutely, 100%.
Well, it's like, if you're going to, you're putting one segment together, your entertainment division, and then you have your I don't know what you would call the internet and cable, got the public, the works division or whatever. I don't know. Let's separate those out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're getting rid of it.
So Universal is big because the parks are a big part of that. The theme parks, they make a lot of money off of those.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Hardo, hey guys, sorry I'm late. It's okay, welcome. Comcast can suck a bag of discs. I'll just say it's discs. Cut the cord with them years ago. I'm still gonna get flagged for that. Anyway, actually, I don't think they do that anymore here.
No.
Any Gilmore Girl fans here?
Gilmore Girls.
Never watch it.
Here, which surprises me because everybody who ever brings this up to me is a man, and I always thought that this was a show for women, and I never bothered with it.
Okay, I watched it for a while. It is a cozy series, but underneath the coziness is also a show that's about class divisions. All right?
Oh.
It's kind of interesting. It was funny. It had snappy dialogue on it. It's hard to explain. Actually, James Gunn's brother was one of the characters on this show, one of the townsfolk, who was a bit zany. It was just... I can't explain it. I don't know if it's maybe like your Hallmark movies, Big Al. It had a cozy feel to it. Okay.
I have talked to some friends of mine, and they have all admitted that that they may have watched a few episodes and it wasn't an entirely terrible thing. For me, it's not that I wouldn't watch it. I mean, it's just that I've just never gotten around to doing it.
Plus, I thought the mom was hot. Okay.
I mean, I was getting ready to say that, man. The
Yeah.
biggest plus. I mean, you've got two.
Her daughter was
two
pretty too,
Very
yes,
lovely
okay.
women here,
Yes.
and
They kept getting
who's-
confused for sisters.
Who's the redhead that the big Mike and Molly all the movies.
Oh,
now.
what's her name? Yeah, she got her start on the show too.
Yeah, she got her start on the show. Which
Yeah.
I was and I remember when I first saw her, I thought she was kind of cute. Little
oh, yeah.
redhead.
But-
A little chef, I think she played. Or
Yes, she played
worked
Suki
up.
on the show. What's her
Yeah.
name again? It drives me nuts.
I can't think of it.
Okay, but anyway, my favorite part of the show were the grandparents because of the way they talked on the show, and very blue blood upper crust, you know. So it was funny watching them interact with other people on the show. It was, I don't know, it was an interesting series, but let me see. So let's go here. Netflix is removing one of its most watched series. This is like when they removed The Office for you, right? Remember that?
Oh yeah. Well,
Wasn't
yeah.
that your go-to on Netflix?
It was for a while, but Parks and Rec's my go-to now.
Well, they have Seinfeld on there too, don't they? I was a big
Yeah.
Seinfeld fan.
I have Peacock, and that's where Parks and Rec is, so I'm pretty happy.
Another month, another slew of titles that are being removed from Netflix. Every 4 weeks, the streaming service culls a list of movies and TV shows from its service, ranging from big blockbusters to releases that were originally unveiled on the platform as originals. July is no different. Among the best films being removed from the month are coming-of-age comedy Adventureland, If You Say So. I hated that movie, but that's okay. Michael Mann's crime drama Heat, dystopian Australian thriller The Rover, and Quentin Tarantino's 2009 film Inglourious Bastards. But the big question mark surrounds the much-discussed removal of Gilmore Girls, the early 2000s family drama centered on the tight-knit bond between a young mother, Lorelai, Lauren Graham, and her teenage daughter, Rory, Alexis Bledel, became a Netflix staple since the streamer acquired the licensing rights for all 7 seasons in 2014. Despite concluding in 2007, the series became an enduring hit for the platform, with viewership steadily growing over the years, especially in the autumn months. In the fall of 2023, viewership spiked at 7.98 billion minutes, according to Nielsen data. All 7 seasons of the show have indeed been removed from Netflix in the U.S. due to an expiration of licensing rights, but UK streamers fret not. The series is still available to view there in its entirety as well as on Disney+. So they've lost Gilmore Girls. They even funded a follow-up series, which I heard was not as well received. It's like a mini-series they did. Okay.
Now, are they losing, or is it just switching services?
They said Disney+, so I'm assuming.
So, I mean, nothing says it won't be back again one day.
I watched 2 episodes of the show. I don't get the hype. It might have been you had to be there at the time it aired, because I was a lot more generous to CW shows then because of Buffy, so I would try to watch anything on the CW. And this one just kind of grabbed me. I can't explain it. I think it was a peek into the, especially with the grandparents, a kind of a peek into the rich, the way they think, you know, and it was, they weren't necessarily bad people, though I don't know, but they had their bad sides to them too. Do you understand? It's hard to explain. And then you had the cozy townsfolk. When I got the game Animal Crossing for the GameCube, I joked that this was Gilmore Girls the game because of all the quirky townsfolk in Animal Crossing and you went to talk to, and never mind. If you just had to be in the know. So anyway, it's leaving, so goodbye. Danny Glover reveals Alzheimer's diagnosis. Things are going to be different and changing. That's too bad. That's a rough disease.
Yeah, I always like Danny Glover.
He was in Lethal Weapon. Revealed Today Show Wednesday morning that he's been battling Alzheimer's disease for a few years. I can live with it in a sense. I'm sure as it advances, things are going to be different and changing, Glover said during an interview with Lester Holt. Glover was awarded an honorary Oscar in 2022, and not long after he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Holt said the acclaimed actor rose to fame in the 80s for starring as Roger Murtaugh in the Lethal Weapon films, and he also had major roles in Places of the Heart, The Color Purple, Predator 2, Witness, To Sleep with an Angel, Angels in the Outfield, To Sleep with Anger, excuse me, Angels in the Outfield, Saw, Dreamgirls, and many more. Yeah, he was in the first Saw movie.
Yes, he was.
I have not seen any of the Saw movies.
Oh, really?
I have not seen any of the Saw movies.
Oh, it becomes like a soap opera after like the third film.
Yeah.
You're clinging.
Becomes about
But-
healthcare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It becomes about healthcare.
Uh,
I
I will say though, I saw The Color Purple, which it still amazes me that that film got nominated for so many Oscars and didn't win one of them.
yeah.
But I thought he was fantastic in that movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I remember that. He was the abuser in that, right?
Yeah, yeah. But he just was really good though.
Evil.
Predator 2, most underrated sequel. I like Predator 2.
Yeah, me too.
Bill Paxton's in that too. I kept imagining the Bill Paxton character was a ancestor of Hicks from Aliens, because he like that was. His, Carrie Elways was in that too. I hear, yeah, and then he shows up in the last one. I felt that was a bit of a cheat, or in Saw 7, because I was like, they should have built up to him still being alive at the end of a Saw movie, but they didn't get to make the two final ones like they had planned because Paranormal Activity beat them at the box office, so they only made one more Saw movie before the series went on a hiatus. Now apparently it's back, so maybe they'll bring Carrie Elways back. The Good Doctor, yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how, and I know they kind of play around with time. How are they going to explain a man dying from a brain tumor who's near death? They keep saying, but he keeps showing back up for all of these films.
Force of will. No, well, after Saw 3, I mean, well, I don't want to spoil too much for poor Big Al here, but he left stuff behind. He had stuff set in motion. He was a genius. He's like the Riddler. It's like a horror movie version of the Riddler. He had all this stuff set up, so even if he died, he's not really gone. It's like it's freaking you out. Don't get me started on Spiral though. Spiral sucked. From the Book of Saw, I did not like that one. But I've yet to watch the latest one. Anyway, here we have. Unfortunately, I wasn't going to put this in Remembrance because we already covered this a couple weeks ago, but we do have a follow-up as to her cause of death for poor Debbie Chase here. So let's get into this. The Ring star Debbie Chase cause of death revealed. Debbie Chase's cause of death has been revealed as acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, otherwise known as AIDS. The former child star, known for her roles in The Ring and voicing Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, died at 35 years old on June 16th. A Los Angeles medical examiner's report listed her cause of death as AIDS and other significant conditions, including chronic polysubstance use. The latter is defined by the Cleveland Clinic as using more than one substance and following a pattern of use that affects your health and quality of life. The medical report states that Chase died in a hospital and her manner of death was natural. TMZ was the first to report the former actress' death on June 17th with her boyfriend Roy Hernandez, telling the outlet at the time that she had died after she contracted meningitis and several serious blood infections. Hernandez shared more details about her health on the GoFundMe started while Chase was receiving treatment, writing their condition has become critical and doctors told him that she didn't have much time left. Following her death, Chase's former manager and longtime friend John Ryan urged fans not to donate to the fundraiser, claiming that Chase's estate has plenty of means to pay for the cremation and her father, John Schwaller, has never signed any paperwork over to this so-called boyfriend. In a statement to Deadline, the GoFundMe is not going toward any expense for Davy. He continued, myself, her father, her uncle, and all of us close friends who knew her for decades are encouraging people not to donate to this page. This man is making these claims, brought her into a hospital in terrible condition, and didn't let any family know until she passed so he can control the dialogue. That's really messed up.
Yeah, it's such a tragedy too.
So now we know her cause of death now. Just rough living. I don't know how she got involved in all that. I feel horrible about this, but
Yeah,
I wish she had come home.
There's missing time
Oh yeah.
here, and we don't know what happened in that time. Was drugs always an issue with her before her disappearance or after? Because people lost track of her. There was even going to be a documentary called Finding Lilo, I think that was the name of it.
They were working on it.
That they were working on. Because there are people who were close to her that physically did not know where she was and did not know for the better part of a decade. How does someone as well known as Davy Chase fall through the cracks?
Awful.
Something very, very awful happened here. And we do not know the whole story yet. You know, and like I said the previous time I was on and we were talking about this is something that we need to keep an eye on, because the deeper I've dug into this, the worse it gets. And let's put it this way, I'm starting to see pictures.
Yeah.
And
it's awful.
I don't like the pictures I'm seeing. And this guy Hernandez, if that's even his real name, this guy needs to be investigated.
It's fraud.
Not just for fraud. Everything that he has done in regards to her, going back as far as he's been involved with her, this guy needs to be looked at. And it needs to begin right now. Because I don't know if this guy was her dealer, her pimp, or what. I don't know if this was a guy who was just after her money and things got out of control. This guy needs to be investigated. He needs to be looked at. Something happened with this girl, and we don't know when it started.
No. It's depressing, though.
Yeah.
And someone did, Geek Flag mentioned she could have gotten this disease from using the needles too.
That's what I'm thinking happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what kills a lot of homeless people, are drugs and AIDS.
Overdoses and other things.
Overdoses, because that's what happened to the kid from NYPD Blue, who played Sipowicz's kid. He was homeless out on a drug addict. You know.
Awful.
Yeah.
It really is a shame, and I just I hope she's resting in peace now. I feel awful about this happened, and I hope that there's a police investigation into this, or at least something. Go ahead.
Find the peace in the afterlife she didn't have here on Earth.
Yeah.
I kept wondering where she disappeared to. Now, not literally thinking that she did literally disappeared.
And the
awful.
fact that was not reported, you know, because like I said, you know, I've seen videos about disappearances of actors I haven't even heard of. She was far more high profile than a Joe Pickler, or may he rest in peace, because I think he's probably gone too, and the woman from NCIS who disappeared. But even though I think she engineered that herself, but the point is someone as high profile as this to disappear for that length of time without anybody knowing where they are. These people live to be on social media. A lot of them. Not everybody is Cillian Murphy, you know. These people kind of live for social media. It's how a lot of them get jobs. That's how a lot of them get their face out there. You know, in 2017, this woman fell off the face of the earth.
Awful.
Yeah.
How old would she have been? She would have been in her 20s at that point.
Yeah. She was supposed to meet James Cameron, I think, for a movie, and didn't go to the audition.
Didn't make it to the audition.
Didn't make it to it. Just walked out the door and gone.
Awful. Awful. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's documentary will do. Maybe they'll refurbish it, make it into an investigation as to maybe what happened since then. It provided the family's okay with that, obviously. But yeah. All right. So that brings us to the end of tonight. Thank you so much, my good friends here, for subbing for Troy and Netter as they are hopefully driving safely back to Illinois this week.
Yep. Hope they're staying safe on the highways during this holiday weekend.
And hope everyone had a good holiday over this weekend. And Enigma Severus, what? No, they'll be back. They're just on the road. That's all. Enigma, they're okay.
Me and deleted are the B squad.
Yeah.
The Geezer
You're not the B squad.
Minus. B
I
minus.
was not looking forward to this stream, and I'm feeling bad for the PlayStation owners because even though I've never been the biggest PlayStation fan, I always have kind of a let's just say I felt they were the rivals of Nintendo. I had a Nintendo 64, and then this interloper PlayStation shows up and started ruining Nintendo's dominance, or well. After their big fight with Sega. But, you know, I mean, I get, though, people have devoted their lives to PlayStation, and then the companies basically took the knife and stabbed it right in their back and is twisting it. So I feel bad for you PlayStation owners out there. PlayStation 5, if you have one, there's still plenty of physical media coming out for it if you want to get that. But I would seriously just think about not getting the PlayStation 6. I think it's going to be a disaster. Or maybe, I don't know what to tell you going forward. At some point, I'm going to have to do a stream about the Evercade and explain to everybody what it's all about. But all right, so what do we have going on this week? At the 11 o'clock hour, I'll be joining Deleted Scenes here for reserved seats.
Indeed.
We'll be talking. Go ahead. Why don't you take it off, Deleted? Why don't you say what you're doing?
We're going to be talking about Zach Krager's now Oscar-winning film Weapons, something we've been wanting to do for a while. Might hit on a couple of other topics that we've done here tonight as well, but mostly it's going to be, like I always do on that show. I'm going to let the guests take the mic and take it wherever they want to take it, and then
That's called theft.
and of course we might go a little bit later tonight since there's not going to be any Doctor Who, unfortunately. That'll be back next week. Let's see. Tuesday, of course, Boomer's going to be joining me for, as well as having by then returned Troy and Etter for live from Sparkwood 21. And let's see. Thursday, if all goes to plan, I am going to be joining Outlaw Bill for a show that we're calling Comedy Greats. And we are going to be watching Don't Look Up. From a couple of years back with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. And later on that night, my show, Coming Attractions, where you get to find out what I'm doing in the next week, up to and including my appearance Friday night on Films with Friends, hosted by our pal here, Big Al. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, that's going to be the pilot movie for The $6 Million Man with Lee Majors. So I'm looking forward to that.
1973.
Yes.
I was 8 years old.
Classic.
Indeed.
And what about you, Big Al? Besides that, you got anything else going on this week?
Well, I mean, just keep an eye out for any reviews that I might eventually get up. Right now, I got The Death of Robin Hood, Toy Story 5, Supergirl, of course, Voicemails for Isabel, which is Netflix rom-com, and some other stuff. Disclosure Day, like Deleted said, got $6 Million Man TV pilot movie on Friday, because we had a lot of fun with the old Wonder Woman, Kathy Lee Crosby film a couple weeks ago. That was a lot of fun to revisit. That.
Yeah.
And for those of you who tuned in last night for Films with Friends for the Adventures of Baron Munchausen, and nothing happened, oh, sorry, I had a thunderstorm here, knocked my internet out. That is rescheduled for Friday, the 24th. It's going to be me and Deleted, and earlier start time was 7:30, because it is a tick over 2 hours. So we're going to bump into Last Call.
All right, cool. And you can catch me on Last Call this Friday, where I suspect Troy and I will be having we're due for one. It's probably going to be an AI stream. Lots been going on since we did another one, so we'll have some exciting stories with some wonderful imagery to go with it, if you know what I mean. All right. Well, thank you again, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. I really appreciate the last-minute subbing. So,
Anytime.
and like I said, stay tuned. Deleted Scenes channel will be on there in a little bit. All right, and we'll be discussing weapons. Take care.